What do we expect from BBC Breakfast? A comforting, measured start to the national day, tea, toast, tone. A flagship that doesn't shout, that delivers warmth and civility from the iconic red sofa. But behind the scenes, something quite different appears to be brewing. Allegations of bullying, a divided newsroom, a leadership crisis, and the slow corrosion of a once trusted institution. To the viewer, BBC Breakfast is a gentle, warm programme. So say insiders, and indeed it is. Ratings remain strong, the tone is soft, the face is familiar. But off camera, insiders now describe an atmosphere that is anything but gentle. Formal complaints have been filed against the programme's editor, Richard Ferdiani, known as Freddie, and accusing him of tyrannical leadership and, in one case, physical aggression. In April, it emerged that he had already shaken a female colleague during a newsroom confrontation, a complaint the BBC upheld. And this is not an isolated incident. Multiple reports speak of shouting, bin kicking, and an old-school hard-man management style that has driven deep divisions between production teams, between presenters, and leadership. We're told that tensions are rife between lead presenters Naga Munchetty and Charlie State. Munchetty, known for speaking up for colleagues, is reportedly at a wit's end. Charlie, by contrast, reportedly finishes filming and leaves, avoiding the political infighting. Sally Nugent is perceived as favoured by Frediani, while others, notably Munchetty and State, are not. Staff morale is low. Whisper networks in WhatsApp groups have turned mutinous. This isn't mere gossip. The BBC's own HR processes have been triggered, yet curiously this remains an informal probe with no independent legal review. One might well ask why. Is the BBC reluctant to expose a deeper rot? Zoom out and the picture is still darker. This isn't just about one man's management style, it's about an institution in retreat. The BBC has endured a year of brutal revelations. Hugh Edwards suspended for indecent image offences, Strictly stars under investigation for bullying, Match of the Day host Jermaine Janis dismissed for inappropriate messaging. What's the name? Gary Lineker. Each scandal chips away at public trust. Meanwhile, budget cuts bite. The talent pipeline shrinks. Staff relocated to Manchester for breakfast and now facing a workplace many describe as unsafe. While with ITV slashing jobs across Good Morning Britain and Loose Women, many BBC workers fear they simply cannot afford to quit and that complaining might mean career suicide. This is the pressure cooker into which Frediani, reportedly emboldened by a recent BAFTA win, continues to pour fuel, and yet the corporation's response has been worryingly predictable. We don't comment on individual HR issues. It's a classic playbook. Keep calm, carry on, hope it fades away. But this time it may not. We've seen the script before, whether at the BBC, ITV or Channel 4, where silence and brand protection take precedence over workplace safety, moral accountability and processing complaints. You try to make a complaint to the BBC, dither, delay, and in the end go to Ofcom. Why are employees being left to whisper rather than speak out? Why has the BBC not appointed an independent reviewer? Why is this culture known internally for years only now being acknowledged? And the answer lies in a subtle but powerful tension, the clash between the BBC's cherished image and its internal decay. Breakfast is just a perfect metaphor. On camera, calm and collected, off camera, chaos and control. What happens next matters. If the BBC ignores these warning signs, if it treats bullying allegations as isolated flare-ups rather than systemic failings, then its reputation will wither further. Breakfast is more than a programme. It's a symbol of public service broadcasting, but symbols only endure if they are underpinned by truth, by transparency, by institutional courage. And the public deserves better. The staff deserve better. The BBC must decide, and it must defend the red sofa at all costs. Must it? Is that the way forward? Brand reputation is more important than the people who are sitting on that sofa. Or should it finally admit that behind the warmth lies a workplace in need of radical reform? Behind the warmth lies a BBC in need of security in need of change, in need of a rethink, a reboot, a re-evaluation, a reformation, so that when you lodge a complaint with the BBC, that complaint is actually processed. You know, there comes a point where the BBC, already losing trust, will simply be switched off. And the BBC needs to make a decision. Is that the future it wants? Because I certainly rely on sources of information which come from other than the BBC. I don't look to the BBC first any longer because I don't trust it. And I would like to. I would very much like to have my confidence in the BBC renewed.